Digital twin has been around for many years and it first started with NASA. In HP, in our manufacturing plant, how we adopting digital twin is to use it to first marry the physical and the virtual together. We believe using digital twin and data will definitely help us in gaining all the intelligence and insights into manufacturing.
A lot of data that has been stored is not immediately available or is not immediately useful for analysis purpose. It's more for log purpose. Yeah, so for us, we want to look at any analysis, we actually have to do a further data transforming, data engineering. And so we actually work together with HP's data team. They actually ran through with us exactly the mechanism and the naming conventions of the database. So actually we work out a formula to help them to transfer the historical data into a data that has been well labeled and are able to recognize for analysis purpose.
So with that, we are able to monitor our equipment's energy consumptions, usage, and waste management. And we are able to identify all the hotspots. And of course, it positions us to move into the next phases.
We call it self-diagnosis and self-healing. It's actually a data-driven approach looking at how we can calibrate the sensors without bringing them back to the laboratory. Within it, it's not only just the algorithm itself, but also embedded with our know-how on where to install the sensors, so that at the beginning, without any sensor drift, we are collecting meaningful data.
Sensor drifting is very important because we control the building surfaces based on the sensor reading, then whether we make it the space cooler or warmer depending on the sensor reading. If the sensor is not giving us the right reading, then we may be providing the inaccurate cooling or ventilation to the space. This collaboration allows ISTA and MC to validate their solution in the real life building. In doing that, university also gained access to the technologies and solutions which are currently not available in commercial markets.
We conduct international comparisons of whatever reference systems that we have to make sure we achieve the equivalent measurement with the rest of the world, so that we measure once and it's trusted everywhere.
Studies have shown that we purchase about up to 22 million pairs of shoes a year, but actually only about 4% of it is actually recycled. And that's way lower than the average recycling rate in Singapore. So I think we all saw the opportunity to increase the recycling rate by coming up with this program so that we can get people to participate and increase the recycling of these shoes. And the recycled rubber can then be used as materials for some of our sports surfaces like running tracks.
Initially, there weren't any grinding facility in Singapore. So we had to actually find overseas operator to grind these shoes and then send these materials back to Singapore. So this actually defeats the purpose initially, in the sense that there were actually more carbon footprint to send the shoes overseas and then import the grounded materials back to Singapore.
I think the benefits of this innovation is that for the circular economy, it's not just the industries or even big players that are involved in it, but it's your everyday member of public or the community that can get involved. Anybody can just drop off their shoe and contribute to this circular economy ecosystem.
As a planet, we are all facing a serious food waste issue. So as a planet, we throw away 1/3 of all food that is produced, but yet at the same time, we have over 800 million people who are going to bed hungry every day. And at the same time, if you think about food waste as a country, it's actually the third largest emitter of carbon emissions, which actually contributes to climate change. So food waste is a big issue. And for Sodexo, as a food services provider, fighting food waste is one of our biggest sustainability commitments. So the reason why we collaborated with LeanPath was because LeanPath's technology actually helped us to collect data on our food waste, both in our kitchens and in our restaurants. And using that data, they will do an automatic analysis and tells us where we are throwing away the most food. And that also helps us to suggest tips on how we can reduce those food waste. For example, reusing vegetable peels in soup stock or reusing fruit peels in infused water, and that helps to bring the food waste down for us. Sodexo has managed to save over 800 metric tons of food waste, which is equivalent to around 1.6 million meals, and that fits about 500,000 people for 3 meals a day. And through saving that food waste, we are also being able to avoid carbon emissions by over 5,000 metric tons, which is equivalent to helping offset more than 1,000 homes' electricity consumption for a year. At the same time, it also helps us to win new clients because more and more clients are actually asking us as vendors, how can we help them become more environmentally friendly? And when they know that we have such a collaboration on reducing food waste, they are actually very interested to explore working with us.